The rain came down like a wall, drowning out everything but the thrum of wipers and the occasional whoosh of passing cars. Her hazard lights blinked weakly on the side of Route 1, somewhere between Boston and nowhere. Emma sat behind the wheel, gripping it with both hands, lips trembling. Her phone had just died, no charger, no signal anyway. A gust of wind rocked her old Corolla, and she let out a strangled sob. Her baby, Ava, only 4 months old, cried in the back seat, hungry, wet, scared. Emma was all three of those things herself. A sleek black SUV slowed down beside her. She didn't notice it until the window rolled down and a man called out, "Hey, everything okay?" She blinked through rain-streaked glass. No, flat tire, no phone. "My baby, hang tight." The man stepped out. No umbrella. Just a hoodie, jeans, and confidence. He didn't look like a typical Good Samaritan. Something about him was polished, not just kind, but purposeful. He opened her trunk like he'd done it 100 times, crouched by the tire and worked quickly. He never gave his name, just asked if Ava was warm enough. Emma nodded. She couldn't stop shaking. 15 minutes later, he slammed the trunk shut. "You're good now, you'll be okay." And just like that, he was gone. Years would pass before Emma would realize who had changed her tire. Want to know who he really was? Stay with the story. Subscribe, drop a comment, and let's keep going. Emma never forgot the man's face, though memory softened the edges over time. Not in a romantic way, more like a faded photograph you keep in a box marked "Strange Kindness." Life didn't suddenly get easier after that night. She moved in with her sister in Worcester, picked up shifts at a diner, and enrolled in night classes when Ava started daycare. She told the tire story maybe 5 times over the years, mostly when people complained that no one helps strangers anymore. "I don't know who he was," she'd say, "but he saved me that night." The SUV, the calm voice, the way he didn't wait for thanks. It stayed with her. Ava grew up fast. At 7, she asked Emma why they didn't have a dad like other families. Emma answered honestly, "Because he wasn't someone I could trust, but we're doing okay, right?" Ava had nodded, her tiny hand wrapped around a spoon. "Yeah, we're good." And they were. Emma had scraped her way into a job at a marketing firm, then climbed her way up, one anxious step at a time. But she never forgot that night. Then, one Saturday, 10 years after that stormy roadside moment, Emma took Ava to a football charity event. It was a last-minute thing, free tickets from her boss. The stadium buzzed with excitement. Ava tugged at her sleeve. "Mom," she said, pointing at the stage, "isn't that the guy from the tire story?" Emma froze. The air left her lungs. Emma squinted at the stage. A tall man in a navy blazer shook hands with kids and signed jerseys. Cameras flashed. Cheers echoed. Ava jumped up and down, trying to get a better look. "That's him, Mom, the guy." Emma wanted to say no. It didn't make sense. But her breath caught as he turned slightly toward the crowd. That same jawline, that same calm presence, older now but unmistakable. "Wait, that's Tom Brady," she whispered. Ava tilted her head. "Who?" Emma almost laughed. "One of the greatest football players ever, but he was just a guy with a hoodie and kind eyes that night. He didn't say anything about," her mind raced, "the SUV. The confidence, the quiet way he'd helped. Could it really have been him?" The MC on stage handed Tom a microphone. "Let's hear it for the GOAT himself." Thunderous applause. Tom waved, smiling easily. "We're raising money today for single-parent scholarships," he said. "My mom raised me, and I'll never forget how strong she was. I've always believed, if you can help someone even just once, do it. You never know what moment might matter most to someone else." Emma's throat tightened. She'd spent years wondering about that night. Now he was standing 50 feet away, unknowingly closing a circle neither of them realized had stayed open all this time. Ava tugged her sleeve again. "You okay?" Emma nodded slowly. "I think I'm about to be." Emma couldn't stop watching him. Not like a fan. More like someone searching for proof they weren't losing their mind. Tom stepped off the stage after his speech and began shaking hands again, gracious but efficient. Emma hesitated. Crowds gathered around him like moths to a flame. Ava looked up at her. "You should tell him." Emma shook her head. "He probably doesn't remember. I mean, why would he?" "Because it mattered," Ava said plainly. Emma stared at her daughter. 10 years ago, that child had been crying in a car during a storm. Now she stood here, confident, whole, and wise beyond her years. It had mattered. But the moment passed. Security guided Tom toward a roped-off section. Cameras followed. The crowd shifted and Emma lost sight of him. Later that night, back home, she pulled out an old notebook from a box in the closet. On one of the pages, she had written down everything she remembered from that rainy night. The date, the place, a description of the man. At the bottom, in shaky handwriting, it said, "Someday, say thank you." She stared at those words. For years they had been just wishful thinking. Now, it was possible. Emma closed the notebook and sat in front of her laptop. She opened a blank email, addressed it to the charity organization hosting the event. Subject, "A message for Mr. Brady, if possible," and she began to type. Emma's fingers hovered above the keyboard, heart pounding. What do you even say to someone like Tom Brady? She deleted her first few lines twice before finally settling into her voice. Not a fan, not a stranger, but someone who had been quietly changed by a brief human moment. "Dear Mr. Brady, you probably won't remember me. It was raining hard. Route 1 somewhere south of Boston, maybe 10 years ago. I was stuck with a flat tire and a crying infant in the back seat. A man in a hoodie pulled over and changed my tire without hesitation. That man, I believe it was you." She paused, thinking of Ava asleep down the hall. "I never got to say thank you. That night stayed with me, not just because you helped, but because you didn't have to. You didn't tell me your name, you didn't ask for anything, you just showed up when I needed someone. That act helped me believe in people again." She signed it simply, Emma Clark, Boston, MA. She read it 3 more times, hovering over send. Then she clicked it and leaned back in her chair, the weight of 10 years lifting slightly. The next day passed quietly. Work, errands, dinner. And then that night, her inbox chimed. One new message. Subject, a message for Mr. Brady. The preview line read, "Hi Emma, this is Tom." Her hands flew to her mouth. Ava walked into the room. "What's wrong?" Emma whispered. He wrote back. And everything changed again. Emma stared at the screen, pulse racing. "Hi Emma, thank you for your message. I remember that night. Not every detail, but I remember a woman on the roadside, a baby in the back seat, and a feeling that I was exactly where I needed to be. I never expected to hear about it again, but your words meant a lot. Sometimes we go through life, never knowing if a small thing made a difference. You reminded me that it can." Emma read it again, then a third time. It was short, sincere, exactly the kind of message he would write, she thought. Her reply came easily. "Tom, I never thought I'd actually hear from you. I just wanted you to know what that moment meant. I think kindness echoes. Ava, my daughter, has grown up with that story. She knows what it means to help someone without being asked. We were at your event last weekend. Ava spotted you. I think she recognized something I missed at first. People don't forget the way someone makes them feel safe." She clicked send. Within an hour, another message arrived. "Hi Emma, that means the world to me. If you and Ava are ever near Foxborough again, let me know. I'd be happy to meet you both properly." Emma sat back, stunned. Not a celebrity, not a headline. Just a man who remembered a stormy night and thought helping someone was the obvious thing to do. She turned to Ava. "How do you feel about meeting a quarterback?" Ava grinned. "Seriously?" The sun shone brightly over Gillette Stadium as Emma and Ava pulled into the designated lot, nerves buzzing beneath the surface. A staff member waved them through with a clipboard and a warm smile. "Mr. Brady is expecting you." Ava practically bounced in her seat. Emma, on the other hand, felt like she was walking into a dream. They were led through a side entrance, past framed jerseys and championship photos. The quiet hum of the hallway contrasted sharply with the roar of the crowd she remembered from TV. Then the door opened. He was standing by a window wearing jeans and a grey Patriot sweatshirt, sipping coffee. Tom Brady turned and smiled. "Emma?" Emma smiled back, trying not to overthink every movement. "That's me, and this is Ava." Ava held out her hand like a professional. "Nice to meet you, Mr. Brady," Tom laughed. "Please, just Tom." He knelt down slightly to Ava's level. "I think I remember you too." "You were wrapped up in a pink blanket, right?" Ava nodded. "That's what my mom said. I was crying." "You were," Emma said, chuckling. Loudly. They sat down in a quiet lounge. For the next hour they talked, not about football, not about fame, but about life, kindness, single parenthood, and the strange ways people cross paths. At one point, Tom said, "That night, I didn't think twice." But hearing what it meant? That's a gift I didn't expect. Emma smiled. "It was a gift I never forgot." They walked together along the edge of the empty field, where thousands once screamed for touchdowns. Ava skipped a few paces ahead, pretending to toss a football no one could see. Tom watched her with a soft smile. "She's got energy," he said. Emma nodded. "And confidence." "I didn't have that at her age." Tom looked at her. "You gave her something better. You gave her a story. Kids remember those, especially ones that start with fear and end with hope." Emma looked out across the empty seats. "That night felt like rock bottom. I was scared, alone. And then you showed up, like a movie character, except you didn't stick around for applause." Tom chuckled. "Never really liked the spotlight when it's not on the field. Sometimes it's just better to show up and leave it at that." They paused at the edge of the turf. "I've been thinking," he said. "We're starting a new mentorship program, pairing athletes and professionals with high school kids from single-parent families. Would you ever consider joining as a speaker?" Emma blinked. "Me? What would I say?" "Exactly what you told me," he said, "about kindness and doing the next right thing even when it's hard." Emma took a deep breath. "Yeah, I think I'd like that." He smiled. "Full circle, huh?" "Full circle," she echoed. Ava ran up beside them, breathless. "Can we come back again?" Tom looked at Emma. "You're always welcome." And for the first time in years, Emma believed it. She truly felt home. 2 months later, Emma stood backstage at a community center in Quincy. Folding chairs filled the space, teens from all backgrounds chatting, laughing, scrolling on phones. The mentorship event was underway, and Emma's name was next on the program. She clutched her note cards, heart thumping. Tom stepped up beside her. "Nervous?" "Terrified," she admitted. "You've done harder things," he said gently. This is just sharing the truth. They'll listen." She nodded. Ava sat in the front row, beaming with pride. That helped. The MC introduced her. Emma Clark, single mother, professional, and someone who knows the power of being helped and helping back. She walked onto the stage, light warming her face. She looked out and smiled. "I want to tell you a story," she began. 10 years ago, I was 23, alone, broke and scared. My baby was in the back seat. The tire was flat. The world felt like it was falling apart. She paused. The room was silent. And then someone stopped. He didn't ask who I was. He just helped. Changed my tire, made sure we were safe, and drove away. She looked at Tom sitting in the back. I didn't know who he was until years later. But that doesn't matter. What matters is, he reminded me that the world still has good people. Emma took a breath. And now it's my turn to pass it on. The audience erupted in applause. In that moment, Emma didn't feel nervous. She felt powerful. A year later, Emma stood in her kitchen packing Ava's lunch. The morning sun streamed through the window, casting soft light on the photos pinned to the fridge. One of Ava with Tom at the mentorship event, one of Emma on stage, smiling wide. Her phone buzzed. A message from the mentorship coordinator. "Just heard one of our students signed up to volunteer at a shelter. Said your talk changed the way they see the world. Thought you'd want to know." Emma smiled, warmth blooming in her chest. "Mom," Ava said, walking in with a book bag too big for her frame, "can we stop by the park after school? I want to drop off socks for the donation drive." Emma paused. "Of course. That's kind of your thing now, huh?" Ava shrugged. "It's what we do, right? Help people." Emma knelt down and looked her daughter in the eyes. "Yeah. That's what we do." They stepped outside, the city humming with the promise of a new day. Emma remembered that night, rain pouring, wipers squeaking, fear tightening around her like a vice, and how one person's quiet choice had turned her life in a new direction. Not through fame, not through power, but through kindness. As they walked to the car, Ava reached for her hand. Emma squeezed it gently. "Do you think Tom remembers us?" Ava asked. Emma looked up at the sky, then smiled. "Maybe, but what matters is we remember him, and we keep it going." And so they did.